What's up, guys? I am in Sissamute, and I have a little bit of an adventure, I think, today, and not a planned one. We're supposed to be flying to Nuuk via Kangerlussuaq, but there's like 75-kilometer-an-hour winds in Nuuk today and a storm rolling in. Some of the flights have been canceled, and magically ours hasn't. And I'm not sure that's a good thing. I'm not sure landing in a little Dash 8 plane in 75-kilometer-an-hour winds is going to be very much fun. So I'm not sure it's going to get canceled. I'm not sure where we're staying tonight. I'm not sure where we're sleeping tonight. I've got 9 other people with me, or 8 other people with me. Because this is a photography tour, so I guess wish me luck. Okay, this is kind of like the milk run. It's Kangerlussuaq, then Matisuk, and then Nuuk. So the last flight's the one we're most worried about, but wish us luck. Here we go. For 2 days, I had my eye on the forecast, trying to come up with a backup plan for my group with this impending storm. But in the end, I decided to wing it. I mean, that's part of travel, isn't it? We don't always plan the adventures we have. Our first flight is to Kangerlussuaq. If we get stuck there, we'll go on the ice field, or we'll try to find a muskox. But in the end, the flight did leave Kangerlussuaq, and we started to gain some hope that we might make it. After scooping up a couple new passengers, we were back in the air, headed back towards the coast. And I was obviously nervous about the weather we were flying into. But the views are an easy distraction. I mean, wow. Okay, made the second flight, and the rain is here, but it doesn't seem super windy yet. Hopefully we can get on this flight to Nuuk before the winds really come in. Man, that was a bit of an adventure. The adventure continues, one more flight. As we got off the plane, I said, "See you soon," to the flight attendant. She responded, "I don't know, we'll see." It seems that even in that window, having landed in Matisuk, the airline wasn't sure if we were going to continue to Nuuk. But alas, we did. Even after all these years flying, I'm a bit of a nervous flyer. So the idea of flying into a 75-kilometer-an-hour windstorm wasn't exactly ideal for me. Thankfully, the pilot was an absolute boss, and we bounced our way through the storm and onto pavement again safely. Yeah, we made it to Nuuk. It was really not that bad of a flight on the way in, because I guess we were going into a headwind, but the wind's definitely supposed to pick up tonight. I'm drenched. The rain and wind howled on us through the night, but the following afternoon, it calmed down enough for us to head out on a much more planned adventure. Okay, the weather has kind of calmed down, although it's still overcast and still rainy a little bit. But we're actually going to jump on a little bit of a boat cruise with my buddies at Nuuk Water Taxi. If you ever come to Nuuk, you definitely have to use Nuuk Water Taxis. They're awesome. And they're going to cruise us from the harbor there all the way over to the ice fjord, to Nuuk Fjord, where we're going to spend the night glamping. I'm so excited. Though the weather was calming down a bit, Nuuk Water Taxis definitely didn't have it easy getting us out to the fjord. The swell kicked us around and the seas were sharp. The spray from the boat splashed across and danced at us in the wind. But there were moments of perfection draped within the wrapping of the boat to the water. A perfect lingering of desperate clouds caressed jagged peaks. There's such a dramatic atmosphere that there's no doubting the fact that we're heading off on an adventure. We reached a waterfall that dangled down from a glacier to the sea like a white ribbon from the sky. It was cold, but refreshingly dramatic. As we turned into the fjord, the sea calmed slightly, but the swell still tugged at our ship enough to let us know that we're in the wilds. Icebergs started to dance on the waters like seahorses, dragons, and dolphins. We passed a village of Lego-colored houses surrounded by mythical-shaped ice. It's fun to imagine what life would look like living out here, permanently at the whims of nature, permanently in awe of its beauty.
Just made it to camp. I'm sorry if the lens is soaked. I made it to camp after an awesome cruise with the Nuuk water taxi dudes into the fjord. We're getting wind and rain and all that good stuff on us right now again. But despite that, it's so beautiful in here. Just the atmosphere of the clouds and the light and the mountains and the hills and the ice, it's just phenomenal. So I think we're gonna get some food and I hope the rain stops. Woo! Okay, made it up to the top. A little bit out of breath because we were hauling some things. They've made a lot of upgrades and changes here since I was here last 2 years ago. These are new tents. They were kind of teepee style before. Now they're more almost like yurt mixed with the teepee. They look more spacious and awesome. They've got this big platform up top. It looks like there's toilets now on every single one of the camps, which is really cool. And the best part is you've still got these insane views from up here. So get a hot drink in us, some dinner, and then enjoy the views.
As we waited for sunset, the weather teased us. A blasting of rain would spit at us. Then out of nowhere, magical light would kick through the clouds, leading to some incredible photos. And later, after a hot drink and some dinner, I scampered down this slick hillside to the comfort of my yurt. I dropped off my suitcase and resisted the urge to get comfortable. Bravely, I peeked out of my refuge to see if we'd have a sunset. And what we didn't, the structure and the colors in the clouds again left us rewarded.
So unfortunately last night it rained. This morning it rained. So there was no real sunrise, but the rain has just stopped and it's kind of glorious. About 2 hours after sunrise and it still looks like this. Yes, we kind of had some bad luck with the weather here, but it's not going to stop us from going for a bit of a walk. It just leaving behind the ice fjord behind us and heading up this ridge just to see if we can get a really cool view from up top. And yeah, there's actually a beautiful river coming down this way as well. So even though the weather's not great for photos, still absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at this place.
Okay, so here's the thing I find so cool about Greenland this time of year. It's autumn, right? Fall colors are abound. But you kind of have to get down and look for them. You're not walking through the forest, you're walking on it. The color palette of these micro forests are just unbelievable. A smarter travel photographer would have spent some time laying on the ground with a macro lens developing beautiful images. But instead, here I am in the future looking back at footage and kicking myself that I didn't do the same. But I did get a very moody image of this lake reflection, so I can't really be mad.
So we're leaving now the fjord. I feel like the past couple episodes, it's been like a really fun time. It's a life experience, but haven't made any photos that I'm really excited about. And I think that is something I'm kind of trying to just let be okay. I want to kind of put the travel back in travel photography. I want to focus on enjoying the travel and let the photos come to themselves, or let the photos happen as they happen and not worry so much about them. And yeah, so I'm kind of okay with just enjoying life and enjoying being out exploring and having those experiences, because for me that's what it's all about to begin with. That being said, we're jumping back on the Nuuk water taxi in towards Nuuk, and then my friend Lassa has something planned for us tonight. We're gonna try to go out and shoot some maybe Northern Lights or Astro or something if it clears up tonight. So back into town and then back onto the boat for a midnight cruise. This trip to the Arctic should have led to at least one Northern Light sighting, but the weather has been miserable and there's been very little solar activity regardless. Thankfully, I'm lucky enough to have a friend in Nuuk who 1. works for Nuuk Water Taxis, 2. is a photographer, and 3. is always up for an adventure. So even though our trip was meant to be over, he offered to take us out on a location scouting mission to a place he'd been wanting to try to photograph Astro. Thus, basically as soon as we got back into Nuuk, we were off again on a midnight cruise. The golden light baked the icy peaks. I played around with some longer exposure photos as the boat glided along the near still waters. As we floated into our Fiord destination, something quickly became clear. This place is really special. The Fiord is surrounded by a diverse set of peaks. It almost feels like a totally different place depending on which direction you look. And as the alpenglow smacked the last light onto the peaks, we landed and scampered across rock, bog, and grass, hoping to get somewhere worthy of a photo. So we've just come here right at sunset. There's some alpenglow on the peaks. It looks absolutely beautiful right now, but the goal isn't really daytime photos, even though it's awesome. The goal is hopefully to find a spot for Northern Lights, either for right now or the future. So there's not a lot of activity tonight and it's a little bit cloudy, so we'd have to get really lucky, but we're hoping to get really lucky. Up the hill there's a sense of wow, but there's also a sense of man, I wish we were here an hour ago. We made it up quite high, and it's insane. I mean, this area around Nuuk has just all these insane, incredible mountains, and it's really just untouched. There is a little hut of some sort here. There's a little tarn there that might have a reflection. There's a bigger tarn down here that definitely has reflections, and the sky back that way is just exploding. And I think this is what I love the most about Greenland, is it feels like there's still so much to discover. There's no trails. There's just a map that says that there's a lake and a river and some waterfalls. I mean, you could spend weeks just exploring this one little valley. Probably not see anybody else the whole time either. Okay, so somehow I lost all my footage from here on out, so here's what happened. I found this epic little composition. How great would this have been at sunset? Then we waited for almost 2 hours. We nearly gave up. And then just as we did, this happened. An explosion of color. Absolutely epic. And the perfect way to end a transformative trip to Greenland. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!